This episode is brought to you by Case File Truth and Deception, based on the hit crime podcast Case File and Goliath. Wealthy businessman Casey Parker has been murdered, and it's up to you to solve the case. Trade evidence with other detectives and get to the bottom of the crime. Who's on your side? Who can't be trusted? Will you be the first to crack the case? Find out in Case File Truth and Deception game. Available online and in stores at Amazon and Walmart.
Shopify presents cool sheets from AHA to...
I suffered from the wrong kind of hot in bed, heat-induced insomnia. That was my aha moment. Bed sheets that keep you cool. Then I thought, how do I even sell bed sheets? That's when I had the idea that made it all possible. Signing up on Shopify.
This is Possibility, powered by Shopify. Sign up for a free trial at shopify.com/offer22. Shopify.com/offer22.
Hey y'all, I'm April.
And I'm Caroline.
And this
is your Bloody Happy Hour.
Caroline, are you ready for this?
This is your newest guilty pleasure.
It's the bloodiest part of your week.
Did we say something about it also being happy hour?
Show did.
Because we about to be sipping on some murder. Bloody happy hour.
Showle, showle. Hey y'all, we're here.
Hey guys, we're back.
We're back. Another episode.
We're real excited today.
Thirsty Thursday.
We're warmed up.
We are warm.
I'm basically in my pajamas.
I am not, but
You're
I'm
not.
jealous.
Maybe this is why I'm single. Did you do anything exciting last week, this weekend, and anything? Let me ask you about yourself.
Listen, I don't even know. It's crazy busy.
Are you still
football season's crazy? I started my new position. I don't know. I can't live my life. I'm a failure at life, actually.
Oh, no. Oh my gosh.
But my counselor makes me feel a lot better because she's real crazy. And so she's not helping me.
What?
Effectively.
I don't think that's the kind of
But she makes me feel better.
Like a therapist?
Yes.
But like, what? Did she tell you her problems?
More than I talk about mine. I was like, I need to call Casey and ask her if this is how it's supposed to be.
Yeah, because anytime I would talk to her about stuff, like I would get so mad because she wouldn't
reveal anything.
No, she wouldn't tell me what to do or like give advice because she just will ask a question. And I'm like, I don't want you to freaking ask a question. I want you to tell me what I should do. I'm like, well, what do you think you should do? I'm like, I don't know what I think I should do. That's why I'm asking. Well, what do you think the best? I'm like, okay, I can't.
Oh, no. My counselor's like.
Maybe that's why she's a counselor.
Oh, no. Well, I'm saying counselor because I'm in school and that's just what we call it. But she's a real person. I mean, she's a real.
Yeah, but if there's like a difference if you're just a counselor or you're like an actual like psychologist.
Oh, shit. I didn't look at her
down. Well, listen, I did live with a psychologist for 2 or 3 years and I found out there is a difference.
Okay.
Well,
so I need to look up her.
Yeah, you need to look
But
up
it
her
makes me feel better because she real cray.
Oh, she probably just a counselor.
And so I leave thinking, oh, I don't really got big problems because this bitch is crazy.
This is not good.
So can you please, you sent me the article. Did you read it though? About Zodiac killer?
Yeah, it was like there was this group of investigators and they finally were like, with all this, I guess they had been doing it for a while, obviously. And then they finally found out who it was, but I mean, he's dead, so it's like real boring.
So the guy, because that happened
died in like 2018. The guy who yeah.
But at least we got a name. So I read the book and like, have you ever read a book where they haven't found the killer?
I've only read one book.
Okay. So let me tell you about this girl that was DTF.
Are you talking about me? No.
Down to find the killer.
Oh, okay. It is Jason Thornburg.
I know. I'm going to go back to that one in a minute.
Okay.
So this is a news story. this just came out and it caught my eye because I was like, she was DTF. She'd be a good friend. I hope that I would do this for one of my friends. So it'll probably be Caroline. I hope that I do this with Caroline.
Oh, no. I'm nervous.
So there was this guy. I Marco Polo'd you this. His name is Khalil Wheeler Weaver. And he was just sentenced to 160 years in prison after a trial. So what happened, I'm going to really sum it up. As I read a couple days ago, he was meeting girls on a dating website and killing them. I don't know how he was killing them, but he was killing them. Well, one of the girls that was killed, friend, like, investigated, and she, like, narrowed it down that it's got to be him. Because there ended up being, like, 3 girls. And so she basically catfished his ass. So she got on that dating website and she lured him to wherever, and that led him to be caught by the police.
How did she even do that?
She was DTF.
You would be the one to do that for me. I wouldn't even know where to start. I'd get distracted.
You know what? She's probably like, who you going out with? Who's your date? You know, like any of my friends that are single, that are going on a date, I'm like, I need to know who they are, where you're going, tell me about them, send me their profile or something. And so she knew, and so she just had to prove it. So she proved it.
Oh, and he got caught, and he's going for 160 years in jail. Oh my gosh.
Yes.
What
Love
app?
it, love it, love it, love it. It doesn't say what app that I see on
So
here.
we don't have many details.
No.
But where did you even find that? I didn't even hear that.
NBCnews.com.
Oh. Have you ever heard of the girl in the box?
No.
Oh, no, you haven't. Even though
Well,
you did watch the documentary.
Okay. I say that because I did watch the Amazon whatever, Prime movie.
Yeah.
But that's usually like 35% of the story.
Oh.
So I've heard of it. I watched the movie. I think what I think is going to happen, but it's usually totally different. So I'm going to be shocked.
Oh,
and
are
I'm
you?
probably going to ask some questions.
Okay.
But I'm going to give you again. I just feel like I'm real claustrophobic, and I was like real like I got nervous when I watched the movie
too.
So I think to ease our claustrophobia symptoms,
Yes.
as you're telling this story, we should play a drinking game.
I agree.
So I think that the magic word needs to be box.
Y'all
Real
about to
basic.
get real tipsy up in here.
Every time she says box, because that would normally trigger some uneasiness if you have claustrophobia, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, then you just take a drink.
Well,
Every time she says box.
get ready, because this is the story about the girl in the box, Colleen Stan. So you should probably just go ahead and take your first drink. Whenever I need a new one, what are you mixing with it after you're done with your pre-workout? Oh, you're just going straight vodka. Okay, I see. Well,
No,
good thing
I
brought
was
me
just
some
not
backup
gonna-
wine, because you know I like to be double.
I
ain't got
wasn't
much left.
prepared today.
Obviously, I don't know.
I'm just not going to drink all the pre-workout stuff.
Oh, okay. Well, let's get to it then. In 1977, I'm just gonna go right into it. This is the kidnapping. Now, we haven't really done a bunch of like couple killers or couple things. So this is, I think, our first couple, like boyfriend girlfriend doing this together to capture their Colleen Stan. She was 20 years old. You know, I guess I really like to do these hitchhiking stories.
Oh,
'Cause
was
we
she
got another
hitchhiking?
hitchhiker. This is 1977, and she's hitchhiking. You know, back in the day, this is the way you traveled. You were hitchhiking, and you just became a professional hitchhiker.
And I feel like it's just as normal as Uber is now.
I
Like if you need to
guess,
go somewhere,
yes.
you don't drive, you can't get there, you just hitchhike.
People were hitchhiking left and right. So she's 20 years old. She's like going from Oregon to California, and she was trying to actually go to a friend's birthday party. So she was going to surprise the friend, and she's like, here we go. And so she actually thought of herself as an experienced hitchhiker. Like, she knew who to look for. She's like, I'm not going to go for this like random, like creepy looking guy. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not going in this car with like 5 creepy, sketchy looking guys. No, no, I'm experienced. Which, I mean, I would have, done the same.
Like,
I mean, this is like promising. So she's passed up on a couple of rides, and then this car comes up, and it's like a man who, like a young guy and a young girl, and they have a baby with them. So
seems so safe. If I was going to hitchhike, I'd go with them.
Yeah, they have a baby with them. What are they really going to do? It's another trick. Like, sometimes you just have like toys in the back seat, or like kids' toys in the back seat, or like a car seat in the back.
Look at you. Look at you.
Look at me, girl.
Don't believe even what you see with your eyes.
Listen, I may say this whole story, but I'll forget it in 5 minutes when I leave. But
okay.
So yeah, she's like, oh, these people look safe. Like, they look so great. Like, I mean, let's do it. So she gets in, and they start driving, and they're just going along, and she's feeling fine about it. And they're like, can we stop at a convenience store? We have to get gas. And she's like, yeah, that's fine. And at this point, I mean, they haven't been going for that long, but she did kind of start feeling a little off, just because he kept looking at her like in the rearview mirror, and like kind of just kept staring at her. And she kind of was like, why are you staring at me? Like, what? She just kind of got this like weird feeling.
Yes.
And she was like, okay, that's a little odd, but whatever. So they go get gas. She gets out and she goes to the bathroom. Well, she's in this bathroom, and she's like, oh my gosh. She's like telling herself, I better get the fork out of here.
Always go with your gut.
She's like, I got to get out of here. I got to get away from these people. And she's like, I should just jump out the window, with this bathroom window. I should just jump out the window and just go the opposite way and not get back in the car with them. She's like, no, girl, you being crazy. Like, she's talking to herself. She's like, no, you're being paranoid. No, just, it's fine. So she ends up going to the bathroom and getting back in the car. So they get in the car, and she notices when she gets back in, there's just like a little wooden box next to me now in this back seat. And she's like, that's weird. That wasn't here before. Oh, by the way, I just said box.
Drink.
How was
a
it?
wooden box in the back seat?
Yeah, like it wasn't there before she went to the bathroom, but now all of a sudden there's just like this little wooden box.
Oh my God.
I shouldn't say little. There's this wooden box back there. So
okay,
she's
so
like,
in the movie, this was the type of car like where she couldn't just open up the door and jump out. Like, it was one of those 2 doors.
Yeah, what is it? A Colt, Dodge Colt or something, like a blue Dodge Colt.
Yeah, I don't even know.
I had to look it up.
They don't even make those
It
anymore.
looks like those. Well,
it looks like the.
I was gonna say it looks like
Dukes
a bug, kind of. Like no, but I think you're right. It's like
there's one door, and so he had to get out, or she had to get out to let her into the back seat.
Yeah.
So it's not like she don't even have a window of her own that would roll down. So there's no easy escaping at all.
None.
By this point.
So she gets in the car. There's this box there. She's like, odd, whatever. They start driving, and then the guy in the front seat asks her, hey, do you mind if we stop and drive by these ice caves? Like, I don't even know what a damn ice cave is. I'm guessing it's a cave with ice. So she's like, I mean, I'm really not, I don't know. What's an ice cave? Sure, let's go. And then she's like, well,
that would be you. Sure.
I'm like, yeah, let's go see some caves with ice. Okay. And then she's like, well, I'm not really in a position to tell them like where to go or not to go because I'm catching a ride with them. Yeah. So she's like, yeah, that's fine. Whatever, let's go on this little detour. But then she notices that it's like, it's kind of remote, and they're just like, it's leading them to nowhere. And then all of a sudden he stops the car, and the lady and the baby get out of the car, and they just start walking up ahead. And before she even has time to like say anything or ask anything, he's in the back seat, has a knife to her neck, a knife to her throat. And he's like, has her at knife point. He's like, shut up, put your hands up. He handcuffs her, blindfolds her. I think her hands are like up over her when he's handcuffing her and blindfold. She must have been real squish, or she must have been small, because if it's in that tiny car. Anyways, then he grabs the wooden box.
Drink. So I'm getting nervous.
And he puts it over her head. Okay, now let me tell you, the box is super heavy. It's like 20 pounds. Okay. It has a hole in the neck, so it kind of opens and closes like a clam.
Okay.
So it'd be like open and close like that, and it is carpeted in the inside.
What the?
And it is a box that's wooden, and it locks, and it prevents light and sound from, like, you can't hear, you can't see, you can barely get fresh air. So it's like,
take a drink.
Major sensory deprivation right here. Okay. And I mean, her head is like locked into this like head cage. She's in a head cage.
Is it only her head that's in the box right now? Or is her whole body in the box?
Her head in the box. So, like, this is okay. If it's like a helmet, think about a football helmet. Okay?
Yeah.
No, this is way worse, because he made her lay down in the back seat with it on, and it's so heavy she couldn't even sit up. Like, her neck wouldn't support the weight of the box, so she couldn't even sit up. So it's much heavier than the helmet, and then he like covered her up with her own sleeping bag. I guess she was traveling with her sleeping bag. She's hitchhiking. So she has this head box. She's blindfolded and has this head box. And I looked up pictures, and I'll post pictures of this, but I mean, this contraption is, I don't even know. So she can't sit up. She's laying there. She's in the back seat, and there's no point in her like yelling or screaming, because no one will hear her. Like, as far as anybody else who'd be outside the car, we're there in the middle of nowhere, so whatever. And then she noticed, because she can hear out, but I guess they can't hear.
Yeah. Soundproofed. Probably the carpet just muffles it even more.
So then the lady gets back in the car, and she notices, the wife. So, and then she notices that the car starts moving, so they're starting to drive again. Well,
so where she put her kids, since now you can't put in the back seat?
Apparently, this lady was driving and holding the baby. I don't know if car seats were
back then.
Back then they didn't have
normal.
car seats,
So right.
There's no car seat. They're just driving with the baby in the front seat.
Yeah, that's normal back then.
That's crazy. So the woman, they start driving, and they eventually arrive at the house. Like this man and wife, they have this.
Is it a trailer home?
This was like a rent house. They weren't in the mobile home yet.
Yeah. Okay.
So they get to the house. They take off the box. She's still blindfolded. They bring Colleen into the basement of this house. So they have her stand on like this ice chest type of thing or something. They have her stand there. There's hooks in the ceiling of this place. So
they're ready.
They hook her hands with her handcuffs onto this hook in the ceiling. So she's standing on this ice chest. Hands are hooked to the ceiling with handcuffs.
God.
He strips her naked. He starts beating her with a whip. Like, starts beating her. He takes the ice chest away. So then now she's just suspended in the air.
Wait, were him and Ariel Castro friends?
I think so.
They probably went to school together.
I think they wrote a book too.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and they probably, they channeled each other. So she's suspended in the air. He's beating her with this whip, and like, I don't know. He's torturing. He's starting this torture. So then she hears this female come in the room, and so she's hanging there. She's naked. She's probably freaking out. And then the couple start kissing. And then there's like this bed that's like basically underneath where she is. So, I mean, it's to the side underneath them. And I think they must have taken her blindfold off at this point. Okay. I've heard a couple different versions.
Yeah.
But they just start like having sex right there with her, just making her watch and making her, she's just hanging there.
So wife likes this.
Okay. I
mean, you gotta be.
I'll tell you. So I mean, what kind of nasty kind of torture is this? But she's just hanging there and y'all just start doing it right in front of her. It's kind of some freaky 50 Shades of Grey over here. I don't know what this is. This is yeah.
This is 700 Shades of
700
black.
Shades of Black. So then they finish, you know, and then he goes back over to Colleen, and that's when he decides he's gonna you know, start doing some stuff with her and starts touching her and doing all these things with her while she's still hanging there. And then once he's done, she hears the woman talking and she hears the man talking, and she hears him refer to her as Jan. So we later find out this is Janice Hooker and the man is Cameron Hooker. So let me introduce you to the Hookers. Yep. So Cameron Hooker, he's 23 at the time, and the passenger of the car was his wife, Janice. And they did, in fact, have their baby with them. So when they met, Janice was 15, Cameron was 19. Cameron had been working as a mill worker. I mean, like I even knew what a damn mill worker was. Apparently you'd be working on a mill. I don't know. I think you're a wood worker. So he was really good with like wood, obviously. He was good with that wood.
Okay.
So he knows how to make boxes.
Got it.
Can you take a drink?
Oh, sorry.
I'm going to make you put your damn phone up. You've been making me put my computer up. I'm going to make you put it up.
I just got to see what Cameron looks like.
Go look at him. Okay, so he's a mill worker, and at the time, their relationship seemed to start off like your typical grooming relationship. So he would constantly tell her she's beautiful and made her feel special and took her to dinner and buy her stuff. And she grew up with not getting much attention from her parents. So she's the youngest of 4, and they say abusive, but it's not really like, it's not a physical abusive environment. It's like emotional neglect.
Oh, okay.
So her parents just didn't really pay her much attention. So as a result, Janice was more looking for that validation from a male figure. So when Cameron came along, was like giving her all this attention and telling her all these things, she was like, okay, well, maybe I'll overlook some other things.
Oh, yeah.
It's familiar.
Ridiculous.
So she might have seen all these red flags from the start, but she just ignored them because she's focusing on the good stuff. I mean,
yeah,
clearly that's what you do. I don't know. Every time I read a story, it's my life. Except we didn't get a sex slave. Lord, a child, I can't. Okay, so she ignored it and she was like focused on the good stuff. So this led her to participate in things that she normally wouldn't participate in. She was, quote, the kind of person who gave into somebody that would love me. She just wanted to please Cameron, basically. Never again. But little did she know that Cameron had this like intense like bondage fantasy. He had like bondage fantasies. So he apparently found out about this bondage stuff when he was like 16, like getting into sex and that MSN or not
BDSM. BDSM.
It's
okay. There's a lot of acronyms.
There's a lot of letters. So I don't know much about BDSM. I don't know if you know much about BDSM. Bondage.
I don't even know what that stands for.
Demasochist, sadist, masochist. But what I do know.
Does it mean pain? Like you just, like I know a
Let me tell you what I do know.
sadomasochist.
I do know that both parties should be willing.
Okay.
And consenting.
Okay.
And
do you sign a contract? Like all 50 Shades of Grey?
Well, there is a contract involved in this. But with BDSM, you know, both people have to be like, okay, I agree. I want you to tie me up and hit me with a whip and hang me from the ceiling. If that's your
thing and y'all both like it, do it.
I guess. Yeah, I go for it. But this isn't necessarily, Cameron's not all about consent.
Okay.
So this is what it says. He's a sexual sadist. So you mentioned how, what's his face? Ariel Castro was a sexual sadist. So if you don't know what that means, It is an individual who is aroused by the suffering and fear of another person, and it's not the infliction of pain that's arousing, but the suffering of the victim. So in this case, he would use physical and emotional pain as tools to elicit that suffering. I know. So Cameron was so excited. He was like, I can't wait. I'm going to experiment with her because he's out with this Janice, and he's like mentioning this bondage stuff to her, but she's like,
No, I'm just like a missionary.
No, I'm a pass. I'm a pass. But then, of course, he's like starts pressuring her, and he's like, I mean, it's not that bad. All my other girlfriends did it. Like, come on, like, just give it a try. And then she's like, okay, fine. She didn't take much convincing. So then he was like, can I just suspend you from a tree really quickly? So he asked if he can suspend her from trees, and she's like, I guess she's obviously said yes because she was suspended from trees with leather handcuffs, and she's naked. And then he's hitting her with whips. So, like, do you think that, like, neighbors were watching?
I just don't even.
Listen, he would choke her. He would tie her up. He would also, like, dunk her in the water, like, of the creek that was nearby. And she almost, like, drowned. She would almost drown a couple times. And then she had to be like,
when does fight or flight, like, kick in?
She just wanted, listen, this is what happened. Even though she nearly died a time or two, April,
She was thirsty.
She, you know, and even though it hurt her a little bit, and it kind of frightened her, to be frank.
Kind of
frightened her. But Cameron was so affectionate afterward. He would hug her and they would cuddle.
Oh, okay.
So she really liked that part.
That made her feel that
made her feel whole.
All the other wounds.
Yeah, like it doesn't matter if I'm hanging naked from a tree and I'm about to be drowned. Like you're gonna cuddle me afterwards and pat me on the back and say, "Good job, girl," and I'm gonna be like, "Okay, let's do it."
All right, Janice.
Yeah. So that's about how that bondage thing went with them. And like, then he would just like, you know, untie her from the tree, and then they would go, you know, move on. They'd go to the whatever they were doing next. Yeah. So eventually they get married.
Okay.
Because she's in it. She's ready. And they continued having this type of, you know, hanging from trees naked, which the neighbors probably watching and whatever. They continued it. But then she started to be like, I kind of just want a normal sex life. Oh, and I also want a baby. Oh. So you can't really beat me with a whip anymore if I'm going to be pregnant and having a baby.
Oh, yeah.
So she knew, like, she was wanting to actually get out of the whole bondage stuff.
Yeah.
And so this was
so let's bring a baby into this situation.
Exactly.
Why do people think that's always the answer?
A baby fixes everything. Isn't that a song?
Never.
Oh, a baby changes everything.
That is a song.
I'll sing more later. Box.
Drink.
I just wanted you to drink.
I did.
I know. I figured you were getting real thirsty after hearing about all these hanging from trees and stuff. So Janice is like, all right, so this is my out. And she's like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be beat anymore or hang from trees. And Cameron's like, no, that's not going to work, because obviously at this point he's addicted to it. So he channels his inner Jeffrey Dahmer.
What?
I knew when I said Jeffrey Dahmer, you were gonna
love him.
You had a little twinkle in your eye, because he decides he pretty much wants like a sex zombie.
Yes.
Am I right?
Yeah.
So he wants somebody who will not give him grief about what he's doing.
Total control and will never leave too.
Yep.
Jeffrey Dahmer's was nobody
they
could
were
leave me.
dead, so they couldn't leave him.
But first he tried to like zombify them. Hey, episode for later. I love some Jeffrey.
I know you do. So he makes it clear to Janice that he...
Oh, can you clock out, please?
I already did. Now it's just my alarm to remind me to do it. Okay. So he... Excuse me. He makes it clear to Janice that he wants to abduct a stranger, and he wants to force her into sexual slavery.
And Janice says she will agree under two conditions. Only two?
Two conditions. That Number 1. Every story has lists.
You have lists
I
and
have
rules
lists
and
rules,
conditions.
and hitchhikers, and all these people. So, condition number 1: he will no longer whip Janice so she can have a safe pregnancy.
Okay.
Okay. Number 2: he can only have vaginal sex with Janice. Doesn't go to say he can't have oral sex or sodomize the other person, which sodomize is,
Yeah,
in
the
butt.
boho.
So,
Wait, what's it called?
in the butt? No. In
There's
the booty
like
hole.
a term in the
Sodomize.
pooper. Not put it in the. I'm gonna think of it.
Stink and not in the pink.
Put it in the pink and not in the stink. Yeah. So basically, she said, put it in the pink
That's the
and not the
shocker.
stink.
Do the pink ones.
Okay.
Oh, we're about to lose some people. But listen, this is what y'all signed up for. So they agree on it, and she gets pregnant, and she gives birth, and she has a kid, and now it's up to her to hold up her end of the deal. And this is when they go hunting for their sex slave, and when they go find the hitchhiker, who is Colleen. It's all coming together.
Okay.
So
After she gave her 2 conditions.
So here's where we are now. We've come full circle. We have Cameron and Janice. We have the hookers. They have a baby. They have Colleen, and she's up in the basement hanging from hooks naked, getting whipped.
Can I just give a PSA?
Yeah.
Public service announcement. If you can only have a normal relationship and marriage because you allow your husband to kidnap somebody else, I mean, it's not normal.
It's
you should
probably
get
your
out of it
first
right now. Get out right now.
But he cuddles her.
It don't matter.
April. He cuddles her really good after. He rubs her back and stuff. Let her be. Okay. Let her be. Find a cup for my wine.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't rap, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.
Okay. So throughout, that is full of water. Fine. I guess we'll have to empty that out. You take all that ice.
Oh, I need that ice.
Okay, so it's the throughout the summer and fall of 1977, Colleen is kept blindfolded and naked in a coffin-like box.
Drink.
In a coffin-like box in the basement. So she's kept in this box for 23 hours a day, and she has 1 hour that she's let out of the box only to be tortured. This is like a coffin.
1 hour a day?
She's in the box for 23 hours and she's out for 1 hour because, there are 24 hours in one day, April, in case you didn't know. Okay. I wanted to make sure you knew. This coffin box was built by Cameron. So this is where he kept her for, she was kept for 7 years, by the way. So that's why this is reminiscent of the damn Cleveland kidnappings.
Yeah.
And it's just so crazy to believe that you were in this box for so long. This box was 6 feet long and 3 feet high. So it's not big at all.
Wait. Okay. 6.
Yes. So as long as it's about how tall I am, and then this height, like that height. So it's not
3 feet.
It's basically just literally coffin. Like it's coffin. So he would put her in this box. Drink it.
Hold on, let me shake first.
Okay. Shake it. Naked. Chains. Sometimes he put earplugs in her ears. He would starve her.
Oh, God.
The first 3 months, she never left the basement. Okay.
3 whole months.
Cameron would come down in the evenings. He would feed her. He would give her something to drink. He would let her use the bedpan.
Oh.
And he would hang her up. He would whip her, and he would sexually assault her. And So here's where it comes. The isolation, like you said, it's extremely important because he did not want her to have any input from anyone else other than himself, and he wouldn't have complete control and rule all aspects of her life because she was his sex slave. So then we come to 700 Shades of Black.
Okay.
January.
I was like, did she give me an address?
No, January 1978. So this is 9 months.
Wait, this is what year? 78?
78. So this is like 9 months after she's been abducted, I think.
Okay.
Hooker Cameron gets an idea so he's all into bondage, right? He has all these magazines about bondage and stuff. So he gets this idea from a magazine and he creates a contract for her to sign. So this is where, like, what the fucking 50 Shades of Grey is this up in here? This contract has some legal jargon and it says that she's signing over her body and soul to Cameron.
Where does he get this contract?
He from these magazines. I guess it's just like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't have any of these magazines, so I don't know.
Oh.
You should look it up.
If y'all have magazines, can y'all tell us what this?
Yeah, tell us about your bondage magazines.
But
I guess he got the idea from there.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know BDSM, so I'm just saying maybe this is like a thing. Who knows? So this contract has some legal stuff in it. It's signing over her body and soul, and he owns her. He's saying she will now be known as K. The letter K, not K-A-Y, just K.
Oh, my God.
Okay. So she is to address him as master or sir.
Oh.
She is to address Janice as ma'am. And this is all written out in the contract. And among other things, she was never to cross her legs in front of him. She was not allowed to wear underwear. I don't do either of those things. So she had to wear this collar for identification purposes. I mean, if I need to wear a collar, just tell me. He goes on to tell her that
But there's no chain on this collar. It's just like basically like a collar.
I'm sure he put chains on it.
Okay.
Part of the bondage. So he goes on to tell her that this is a slave contract and that it would be enforced by an organization called the Company.
Oh my God.
So he explains to her that the Company is an underground network of slave traders and that it was created in order to keep slaves in line that were disobedient or tried to escape. The Company would find her and kill her if she ever tried to escape. And they would, including if she tried to escape, they would go after her family and they would eventually recapture her. She was told that the Company was always watching. The phones were bugged. They were always listening. The Company. And she started to believe it because he just, I guess, up until then had just totally isolated her so much that she didn't, you don't know what to do. You don't know what to think. So he told her that Janice was once a slave. She tried to escape and that he married her in order to save her from being executed.
They are such good liars. I wouldn't even think about saying, how did you even fathom this story?
I guess it was in the magazines. I don't know. You're going to have to subscribe to bondage.com.
BDSM.
Yeah, BDSM.
Magazine.
And then you can tell us stories about what's in there. And as a cherry on top, this is, okay, supposedly they put a photo of a girl, Marie Spanhank.
Okay.
Because they said that this was the girl that they kidnapped before her and that she ran away and now she's dead, and they put the picture of this girl in the box.
Oh.
So she was always staring at her. Or they put it in
did
different
they make
spots
that
of the
up
house.
though? Or what did it?
Yeah,
it's just made up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I heard that from a couple of different places. So
in the movie, they were at the beginning, they had just buried a body and then they had picked her up.
Oh, then that's probably, yeah. Because they claimed that they had murdered somebody,
else,
but they never found proof of it.
Okay, yeah.
So that's why I was kind of like, So then, let's see. Cameron, he signs the contract under this alias, Michael Powers. Don't know. That's what his name is from then on, I guess. He's master or he's sir, or apparently in the contract, he's Michael Powers. And then, so Colleen signs it. After she signs it, she's treated slightly better. Slightly, meaning she was allowed to wear clothes.
Oh, thank you for that.
And she didn't have to always wear the blindfold.
Oh. How did she get out of the box an hour and 30 minutes a day?
Maybe. I think she got to help in the garden a little bit.
Okay.
Yeah. So a year later, the hookers decide to move into a mobile home.
Oh, yeah. I bet the neighbors were like sus. So can I say on the movie, like I think this is the movie. So there's movies always make it, add their extra shit. But like,
apparently she was like the neighbors knew her and stuff.
Knew her, Janice?
Knew Colleen.
Oh, I don't know. In the movie, the neighbor was like the actual rent, like who they paid rent to.
Uh-huh.
And he was like questioning, like he needed to get in the basement to fix something. So Cameron was avoiding him going into the basement because he'd see all that shit. So they just packed their shit up and left. So I don't know if that's real stuff or that's movie, but it's juicy.
She is treated slightly better. A year later, the hookers decide they're going to move into this mobile home. And this is when they built her another box to live in.
Oh, drink.
Absolutely.
Because I can't be thinking about another box.
This box was able to fit into the frame of their waterbed. Yes, I said their waterbed. They have a waterbed. Karen and Janice have a waterbed. I can't.
This was
so it's like
80s.
like this box. It's like the bed frame. It goes underneath the waterbed.
Fits
so
snug.
she basically is there. That's where she lives. And she's there hearing every moment of their sex life, of their anything.
But trapped. 100%
completely trapped. So over time, she's gained more freedom. She's able to do chores and help watch the kids because at this point they had recently had a second kid.
Oh, great.
Yep. So they got 2 kids, and Cameron started to like build the dungeon. This is what he calls the dungeon, where he's planning to keep Colleen and his other slaves because he planned on kidnapping other slaves.
Oh, yeah. Okay. He wants more.
Yeah. So, because he getting greedy. So, actually, Colleen even helps him build it because that's part of her chores. So, she's like having to help build this. Like,
Colleen did.
Yeah.
Not Janice.
Yeah. Yeah, Janice,
That's her job. She had Stockholm syndrome bad. Already.
Yes. So, yeah, Colleen's forced to help him make it, and he would even she was gonna be able to be let out of the box to help work on this dungeon. So I would be like, let me out the box. I'll work on any dungeon you want. And so like she would even, when she would do yard work, she would be unsupervised. So she had chances to like escape because apparently neighbors were around, but she never tried because she was so scared of the company. Who was always watching and listening. Mm-hmm. And she didn't want them to come out friendly. So in, what year was that? I don't remember. 1978. So now we're in 1980. She'd been captive for 4 years.
Wow.
So Cameron had gained enough trust in her that he decided he would let her make a phone call home.
Because she would always, she missed her family. She talked about her family a lot.
So
God.
She calls her house. Now her family had thought she was like joined a cult.
Oh, my next story is going to be like that too.
Okay, so she calls her house. Her sister answers, and she's like in complete shock, and she's like asking her all these questions. And Colleen was so scared to answer the questions because she's like, oh my gosh, the phones are bugged. So I'm just going to tell my sister I'm fine. I miss him. I love him. And The family didn't contact authorities because they were like, well, she said she was fine and she must have joined a cult. So they didn't want to jeopardize
Because that's
anything.
fine.
Because here's the thing. This is another thing I read. That apparently back in this time, cults were a big thing.
Were they?
I don't know. I guess they were. I wasn't in a cult. Were you in a cult? Cult?
I mean, I don't know.
I guess like cults were like more people were in cults. Well, this is probably like, this is when was David Koresh? That was in the 80s or 90s? That was in the 90s. But when was like Jonesburg?
Scarlett Johansson?
No!
Jim Jones.
Yeah, Joan. All
Yeah.
that. So I guess, anyways, this is just what I read in the article. That cults were kind of like, it was on the news saying like, if you think your kids joined a cult, then don't don't try to get them back, because then they may never come back, or then they may get hurt even worse or something like that.
Okay.
Research it.
Great advice.
So this is what they said. So a few more months go by, and then Cameron decides he's going to let Colleen go visit her family. Oh my gosh, how nice. So he goes with her, and they show up to her family's house like completely unannounced. Do you remember this?
I'm thinking.
And so Cameron goes and he introduces himself as Colleen's new boyfriend, saying his name is Michael Powers.
Where is this name coming from? He just likes power.
He just made it up.
Yeah.
So he ended up leaving Colleen there to be with her family for 24 hours.
Oh my God.
Yeah, a whole day. That's a whole day, 24 hours. Did you know that?
One whole day.
And he said he had to go to some kind of convention. He'd be back to pick her up the next day. And her family was like, girl, you're looking skinny. And she was pale. And she looked like the life had been sucked out of her. But
Homely,
they didn't want to bombard her with questions because, that's seen on the news. They're not supposed to do that. And Colleen didn't offer up any details about what's been going on. And they were so worried about losing her again. They just enjoyed their time they had with her. Because she had cult brain.
Okay, I can see a little bit of that, but still, like, where's your shotgun? And where the po-po?
Well, Cameron, Michael Powers, came back to pick her up, and the family, he tells the family that they are about to move into their new house, and he'll send them contact information. But before they leave, the family takes a picture of the two of them, of Colleen and Cameron, and they're like hugging, like Colleen's arms around her, and they're smiling. They're just looking like this little couple, and they're looking like, like they're in a relationship. And this will come back, and it's used against her in the trial.
Because she looks happy.
Yes. And it's like as a victim shaming kind of a tactic, because she's smiling, she has arms around him, and it looks like they're in a relationship. But again, the company is very much a real thing in her head. She's like truly, truly scared of it. And so that's, I guess, why.
And she was she was feared. She feared them. So in the movie,
plus this is also from she's done a couple of shows, so it's like some interviews from her, like just talking about
genuine fear of what could happen if she spoke. So in the movie Sister, there was a sister that was like a big sister that was like, something's wrong. She's joined a cult, and she tried to get Colleen to, or she tried to reach out to Colleen, and she tried to get Colleen to tell her something like, we can help you. And Colleen was like, shut her off. She was like, let's just enjoy this time.
Why would she not just write him a note? You're not saying anything. You're just like, they're beating me, and they said that there's people listening. So escape. Like, I don't know.
I don't know. Code word.
Box.
Everything goes back to a code word. Box. Take a drink.
So whenever they get back home, she is immediately locked back up in the box.
Take another drink.
Without explanation. It's believed that Cameron was scared that he had given her too much freedom and too much control, and he thought she would run away and back to her family. And so now he is back to keeping her in the box for 23 hours. Because remember, she was originally in the box for 23 hours, 1 hour a day. She was let out. Then she got privileges. Yeah. Oh, this is where I have my recap.
So he went backwards.
Yeah. So then he went backwards because
he ought to feel better, because
Well, he
That was
started
his-
to like doubt himself. He was like, "Oh hell, I'm giving her too much freedom. I'll let her go see her parents. Let her get the phone call. No, I don't want to lose all this control."
Yeah.
So
Okay.
at this point, it would be like 6 years she's been abducted. So, yeah. So Janice, remember Janice?
Yeah.
She started to have an interest in Christianity.
Oh, thank you.
Her heart was a little Grinch heart, and then it started to grow like 3 sizes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So she
and
read the Bible.
She did. She said she started reading the Bible, and Colleen was a devout Christian.
Okay,
So,
Colleen.
and the hookers knew this.
I love how like these things that they're going through, even like Michelle and Amanda, it was still like Jesus this, Jesus that,
I
prayer
know.
that. Like
That is,
faith is a big thing.
yeah. So they knew she was devout Christian, and so whenever Cameron went to work, Janice would come and let Colleen out the box. Drink.
Oh, y'all should take a drink out there.
and they would read the Bible together. So Colleen like says this kind of led them to become like friends on like some level, weird level, like a Bible level. But then Cameron eventually let Janice and Colleen go to church together every weekend. And Janice started to soften up. Okay.
Janice and Colleen went to church every weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So
This is extreme form of Stockholm syndrome. I had no idea.
So Janice is slowly having a change of heart, and she decides she'll reintroduce Colleen like to the neighbors and to the children, I guess. So I think she would like watch the kids sometimes.
Yeah.
And so apparently the neighbors all thought Colleen had moved away, but no, she just was in the box in the basement.
Oh, she was in the box under the bed.
So Cameron started to form this like attachment to Colleen. Okay. And he wants Colleen to be his second wife.
Ooh.
Okay.
Is Janice going to get jealous?
Yes, she is. So Cameron he's formed this attachment to her. He wants her to be second
Does
wife.
he never try to get them to like
I think they do like sexual stuff too.
all three of them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think it goes into detail in this one of the books that I
That you
didn't
did
read.
not read.
No. Mm-mm.
Ooh, that'd be a good book.
He lets Colleen go and get a job. She gets a job at a hotel. So she's going to church. She's got a job. She's seeing people, but she's not saying anything to anybody about being captured.
Rewind.
She goes to church with Janice.
Yes.
She's able to get a job, and she works at a hotel.
I need a break.
She had a job as a maid at a motel.
Oh.
Okay. By the way, let me tell you that this box
I'm already real drunk.
had
Wait,
little-
but you're not drinking.
because I'm talking.
Slurp it.
That's what he said. This box had like such little air to breathe, and like during the summers, it would get so hot. The temperature in the box would get to 100 degrees.
Oh, I bet she would just pass out.
I would die.
Yeah.
I can't. And Colleen, she's like, helps Colleen get to the bus station. Colleen gets to a payphone and calls up Cameron and says, "I'm leaving you and you can't stop me."
Janice calls.
Excuse me? Did she just have a stroke?
Janice calls.
Janice helps
calls Cameron.
Colleen. No, get off of the mic. Janice helps Colleen get to the bus station, and then Colleen gets there and goes on the payphone and calls Cameron.
Why does Colleen call Cameron?
Because she gone and she's like, "I'm out of here, bye." And Janice just like probably dropped her off at the bus station, and then so she can go back and be the wifey. And then Colleen's gone, and she's like, "I'm gonna call him and tell him I'm gone."
I can't.
Listen, that's it. But Cameron's super upset. He starts crying because he lost his toy. He lost his toy.
Yeah,
Crying.
yeah. His favorite toy.
So you know what? She hung up and went home. The end.
No, not the end.
Just kidding. It had been 3 months after she returned home. So she's been home 3 months. She never called police. She never did anything.
What?
She didn't say anything to anybody. She had no authorities. She didn't tell anybody what happened. But then Janice decided to make a confession to her pastor.
Oh, Janice did.
To her pastor. Yes.
Colleen ain't said shit this whole time.
Colleen ain't said nothing. She is talking to her pastor, and she's like agitated. She's super upset, and she's like, okay, she starts talking to the pastor, and she's telling him things that he's never even dreamed could happen. And he stops her, and he's like, whoa, wait up, hold a minute, hold up. We're going to have to get somebody else in here to listen to this because I ain't believing it. So he gets her permission to get the police in there. They get the police in there, and they're like, I mean, we don't really believe your story. It's a little sus.
Oh, God.
So they didn't believe her story. But then they eventually tracked down Colleen, and which they're like, she seems totally normal and totally fine. But Colleen confirmed everything that Janice said was true. Finally, Cameron Hooker is arrested. And since Janice helped Colleen get away, she would be granted immunity if she agrees to testify against Cameron.
Of course.
So during the trial, it came out that there was literally like nothing in his childhood, nothing in his past. That's why we didn't talk about his like childhood or past, because there was nothing that triggered anything for him to be this way. And so everybody was real confused.
His was nature, not nurture.
Guess so. And then once the police searched his house or mobile home or trailer house, they found all the things.
All the evidence.
They found leather restraints. They found head boxes. They found this device called the stretcher. They found hooks in the ceiling, porn magazines.
Oh, my gosh.
The trial begins, and he's facing over 18 charges, including kidnapping, rape, sex crimes, but he pleads not guilty because he said that Colleen was a willing participant. I mean, she never tried to escape.
I don't know if I'd want to be on that jury.
So
that'd be a hard jury to be on.
They basically were saying that she had been able to go see her parents. She never tried to escape. She didn't tell anyone when she had the job, when she was at church, like that. She never said anything when she went home. Like when she finally escaped and made it home, she still never said anything. But then the prosecutors were like, she was brainwashed.
Yeah.
She was scared of the company. She likely had Stockholm syndrome, even though I feel like Janice had the most of it. Which Stockholm syndrome is like feelings of trust or like affection felt in cases of like kidnapping.
Yeah.
So I guess you just like end up believing whatever they say, which I mean, it's happened before.
Not unheard of.
Somebody maybe said I had that, which probably. But anyway, September 1985, Janice ends up taking the stand, and there's tons and tons of evidence, and there's all these props, and the most important piece of evidence was the contract. So this showed that, like, Colleen just gave up. Like this is the point where she gave up, and she was just like, there's no point in trying to do anything because there's this company, there's these people, they're watching, they're listening. So what's the point? Even Colleen took the stand. She, like, did too. So they had like replicas of the boxes for like the jurers to lay in.
Wow.
So she had
that would do it for me.
She had the coffin box, and she had the box under the waterbed. So there's all these boxes. Drink, and drink some more.
All the drinks.
Well, another thing was that apparently Colleen had like written these love letters. Oh no. Oh, she drank it too fast.
I had to take all those drinks at once.
I know, box. So apparently she had written him these love letters. So that was like, this trial was a shit show. Okay. Because they're like, why are you writing love letters if you really weren't in love with him? You were really in love with him. You really did.
Who wrote a love letter?
So apparently Colleen wrote Cameron love letters.
After she left?
No, while she...
Podcast over.
But they read some of these love letters, and they were like, she was like, well, I did because I knew that I would have like less of a beating or less of a torture time, or maybe I could get out of the box more or whatever. So then that was like a weak argument at that point because she's like, dude, I'm in a freaking box.
Yeah, I'm going to do what it takes.
Come on. So the jury deliberated for like a week and they found him guilty. Dun,
Yay.
dun, dun, of kidnapping, rape, and he was sentenced to consecutive terms, of which would be 104 years.
Oh,
total.
good. So he's...
And then around, actually it was last year.
Ooh.
COVID, that
because they were releasing
they told Colleen, they said, we're looking into possibly granting him parole in March 2021. And instead of a parole hearing, authorities scheduled a hearing in September 2021 to decide if Hooker would be classified as a sexually violent predator, which would result in his civil commitment to state hospital. But they didn't do that, and he's still in there.
Good. I mean, he don't need to get out.
No, he's about to go
Ever.
get some more people and put them in boxes. So Colleen eventually, she later gets married. She has a daughter, but I mean, it's not that great because the daughter ended up in jail, and she got divorced, and she got married and divorced, but she's still alive, and I don't know. Yeah. So I think he's going to be up for parole again next year, 2022. So
Hey,
that's
that
the
was a
story of
good
Colleen
story.
Stan, the girl in the box. Take a drink, one final drink, and let us know what you think.
Yeah, I need to know, who would y'all rather kidnap or abduct you? I still don't remember the difference.
I would
It's
probably
kidnap Ariel or Cameron.
Cameron.
You'd rather Cameron kidnap you? I'm all about some Ariel. I hate me some Ariel Castro.
No,
but I
Cameron
would
is
rather for
way
Ariel.
more less sweaty.
Sweaty. I just would rather eat McDonald's. Not really.
You just wanted
hate
the McDonald's.
No, I hate.
Maybe I
freaking
just
McDonald's.
wanted the threesome.
I have the girl in the
basement.
basement.
You do?
Yes.
We have more people in basements?
Yes. And it's a big story, so I need to start it right now.
Oh, you better get ready for it.
Oh, it's a big story. So we will see y'all next week. Do not forget to RRS.
Rate, review, and subscribe.
And subscribe. Leave all the comments. All comments matter, good or bad. Caroline, where can they find us?
Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and maybe soon TikTok.
TikTok, all called Bloody Happy Hour. See y'all next time.
Excuse me?
wait.
Don't forget
to
stay aware,
stay alive,
and always be DTF. Bye.
This has been a Rogue Media podcast. Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about Frozen, heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hey, I'm Zach,
And I'm Mike.
and we have a fantastic new podcast to tell you about. Bros, Foes, and Heroes. It's the two of us looking into the world of comics, breaking down some characters that you may have never heard of, and some that are just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, so Zach comes up with a character each time, and I go into it just completely blind. I don't know who this person is or what their abilities are or anything, and basically I guess we kind of go over their origin story and just some of the ridiculous stuff that maybe, especially Golden Age stuff.
Oh, Golden Age stuff is always the best, and we will make sure to highlight all of the shenanigans and just absolute weirdness of everything.
Yeah, that's right. So subscribe today and follow us on Instagram at Bros, Foes, Heroes.
And if you don't, I know where you live. Not really, but please subscribe.
bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about bros and foes and heroes. Gonna tell you about.
Hi, I'm Hank. You might remember me from a show called King of the Hill. Check out a King of the Hill rewatch podcast. These boys ain't rap, but they are funny. Find the podcast anywhere you get your podcasts or at roguemedianetwork.com. I tell you what.